Hey folks, welcome back. This is our third and final part of building our concrete curb. The first two parts, if you saw those, we were putting it together, and now we're going to connect this curb to another wall that we have next to it. So we got to cut our angle on the block, and we're going to set it in. Also, in this video, we will be adding some polymeric sand to the joints to fill any gaps that might be there. But before we do that, let me take you back and show you what this thing looked like in the very beginning. Before we even started modifying it, we had railroad ties just like this. Then the railroad ties came out. They were broken, rotten, falling apart, especially the ones in the dirt. And here we are hauling one. Now these are about 200 pounds, give or take. And here we are with the intermediate step. The intermediate step was to put some large rocks in that we already had. So this is our wall right now, our curb. This is our curb and our wall. We're joining this right here together. We got a couple options here we can try. The first one we're going to use chisel. We're going to try to keep it simple. If option one doesn't work, we're going to try to do maybe a circular saw, go get a masonry blade for it. If the first two options don't work, then we can use a angle grinder. Those are quite dusty. We'd have to wear some protective eyewear, protective breathing mask for all the concrete dust. So the chisel's definitely our way to go. I just don't know if we can cut this angle quite correctly. If it comes out even close, we'll probably use it. So we'll see how close we can get with the chisel first, and if that doesn't hold up, then we'll go to option B or option C. Okay, let's take a quick measure here. Let's get our distance first. 12 3/8. The other side of our block is going to be 14 7/8. Okay, we made our marks. We got 12 3/8 on this side, 14 7/8 on this side. We made our lines all the way around, all four sides. We're gonna try and chisel this out and wear eyewear to protect ourselves, and let's see how it goes. All right, the first thing I'm noticing is our pencil marks have disappeared really quickly once we start chiseling anywhere close to the pencil line. But I can at least see the chisel marks now. I was hoping this is going to break like a paver, but it did come out in smaller pieces, and then a bigger piece here. It gouged out, and this side's a little high, this side's a little low. We're going to trim this down. Okay, if you can tell, it's almost fit. It's so close. There's just a tiny bit of concrete we didn't shave off quite enough, and it's stuck. So I think we're gonna try just standing on it first before we do any more chiseling. Oh no, uh-oh. We were rough with it, we lost a little chip there. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, here it is. Here's our 20-degree angle. We ended up breaking a little chip off the front side there, so we'll probably try to get some concrete glue or just leave it for character. Part of the process, but otherwise the chiseling went pretty well. We got a good probably 1/8 of an inch to a 1/4 inch gap there max. I haven't watered here yet because this is diatomaceous earth. We had an anthill here, giant anthill. We put concrete over it. Ants went away, came back the next morning on top of the concrete, so they just made a new anthill here. So I'm going to cover this with concrete probably again. All right, we're gonna come take another bag, fill in some low spots of the concrete, add just a little bit more height to the concrete, and then we'll bring the river rock on top. Okay, we had a little spill here. I spilled the concrete. When I tried to pick up the bag to move it, it broke open. Okay, let me show you the latest. Right here I reinforced the corner a little bit. The river rock should come right to the peak there, but otherwise the concrete is pretty high in that corner. And then down here we added along the length and into the corner we added another bag of concrete, which still didn't bring it up super high, so we should be plenty fine to have the river rock on top of this. I don't think this curb is going anywhere. It's gonna look great when we get the river rock back on top. All right, would I say this job was easy? If you were to compare this, each of those blocks, I'd have to check, but I think they weigh something like 60 pounds. Yeah, it sounds about right. 60 to 80, somewhere in there, I'd have to go check. But if you were to do railroad ties, I mean, we're talking those, each one of those are around 200 pounds. So depending on, what your preference is, you're putting, one stacking double maybe, railroad ties, two on top of each other. But moving these blocks wasn't too bad. 60 pounds, something like that. You put them in, you just level them. With that concrete on the back, just dry poured, I have to think that this would be easier than putting railroad ties back in. Here's what we're going to use, our polymeric sand. We got the Dominator, and I bought this in titanium gray color. Now, I know it comes in at least 6 different colors, so you can find one of your own liking. This is a 40-pound bag. They do sell this in a 10-pound bag though. So we got a dry bucket here. You want it to be dry, we're going to store it in here. So this is a pretty good heavy bag, very solid, I like it. There is some dust if you go fast. So right at the end it was pouring fast and I saw some dust, so you want to stay clear of that. Okay, on the back of this bag they do give you tips for success and your activation times for first watering and second watering. So most of our gaps are going to be the smallest, 1/8 to 1/4 inch. So we're going to follow this top line, and it does say that you want your surface to be dry, and you should have enough room for 1 inch of the material. So wherever your gap is, it should still be 1 inch deep. Now that this project's done, we do have some test blocks. We are going to test some different methods of staining. We might try some concrete stain. I've heard some of the tung oil that we have. Tung oil is a good sealant and also penetrates. So we've got a few options to try. We'll use, you know, one or more of these to test that out, test out some of those theories before we apply it to the wall. But that'll be for another video. Okay, that's it. We did our landscaping wall out of concrete blocks. This is no pour, no forms, just concrete blocks. Back it up with concrete and pull the rock back on top. We'll probably come back here and we'll probably decorate this better than it used to be. I think it looks great now. All right, folks, we're through. All that we have to do is let that sand dry, and then we'll come back and use a blower or a broom to get rid of any loose sand, and we're done. If you didn't see parts 1 and 2, go back and watch those to see how we started this out, and I hope you enjoyed this series. Okay, folks, don't forget to give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Homestead Y'all.